Learning. Okay, so for universal design for learning, just as a recap, it's this idea of layers, and it's really important to understand it like this because with the new, not new, but with the framework of response to intervention coming forward in a lot of what we're doing, it's not shown as layers, it's shown as compartments. And whereas a lot of the triangles that we're seeing out in the world, it could be communicated that these students are receiving supports in different spaces, whereas that goes against what we know around universal design for learning, in that everybody has access to universal supports. That's what universal is. You know, backup cameras in cars? Those weren't designed for us. Those were designed for people who can't turn their head and shoulder check. I don't know what I did before my backwards camera. I will never again not have a backup camera. Anyways, what I'm saying is, it's not that students in Tier 1 get this support and students in Tier 2 get this support and students in Tier 3 get this support. Everyone receives universal support, and then if they need more, there's another layer. And if they need more, there's a third level. So if students in Tier 3, they don't get the most support because they're in Tier 3. They get the most support because they've already received universal support, and then they've already received another level of support and a third level. But the other part that's really important to know is that as much as we love to plan for these different groups, when it actually comes down to implementation, it doesn't always go that way. And so to communicate this, I have a story. It's the best one. So I'm just going to leave this here, and I want you to look at those tiers and think about them as I tell you this story. So we've spent the day together, so you know me enough by now to know that I'm impulsive. And I'm a Leo. Oh. And I make rash decisions. And so I'll take you back to a night in 2009. I was working at a high school in Richmond, and we had big Christmas parties. We had so much fun at these Christmas parties that we had to pick a new location every year because we weren't allowed to the previous one. So in 2009, we had a Christmas party, all-you-can-eat butter chicken. That's not a metaphor. It was all-you-can-eat butter chicken. It was amazing. And every year we have different activities, but one of the activities that happen every year is the trick 50-50. Do you ever have those? Where you buy a 50-50 ticket, but then if you win, you have to give it away. It's like the trick 50-50, you know, because there's like a organization there, and you look kind of like an ass if you don't give it away, and you just take the money for Christmas. So I'm like, what? So basically you're just going to take my $20. So anyways, the trick 50-50 at this year's Christmas party was for the Ride to Conquer Cancer. Has anyone done that tour? Where you ride your bike from Vancouver to Seattle? Is anyone in here a bike rider? Oh good, you'll like this one. Okay, so once upon a time, I did a triathlon. I was younger. I learned how to swim. It was, you run, you swim, you bike. The bike was the easiest one. So in 2009, 5 years later, when they said, we are looking for volunteers for our high school to ride our bikes as a part of Team Road to Conquer Cancer, and I was like, easy, I'm in. No problem. I've got a fast bike, raising money, piece of cake, I'll just tell some funny stories and put a hat on the ground. I can do it, no problem. So our team of 9 committed to each raising $2,000. They went on training rides, and I said, you know what, I'm doing my PhD, I just don't have time for that. Plus, the bike is the easiest. I'll be fine. I can take breaks, whatever. So for 6 months, they went on training rides, and I just, polished up my bike. So the day comes in June, early morning. Remember, I'm Tier 3 before 10. So 6:30 a.m. is really hard for me, Sarah knows. She called me this morning. Are you awake? Yes. So just I'm painting the picture for you. So I have my fast road bike. I have my tights. Anyways, if anyone's ever done the race, it's amazing. You meet in Surrey. There's thousands of riders. Everyone wears yellow. And if you're a survivor, you have a big yellow flag on your bike. So it's beautiful, it's inspiring, like your passion fire starts bubbling, you feel good, you feel like you could do anything. So it's 6:30 in the morning, there's a DJ, there's juice boxes, people are ready to go. Off we go, all 1,000 of us. 10 minutes in, I was like, whew, I wonder if Seattle is downhill. After an hour, I realized I need a new strategy because pedaling isn't an option. So I decide, you know what, there's pit stops along the way. I'll just eat an extra sandwich, I'll make some friends. Until the pit stops ran out of food and started closing down. This was day 1. This is hundreds of kilometers. So I'm riding my bike. There are no friends to be had. A guy on a unicycle passes me. A 6-year-old with training wheels passes me. And a pregnant woman passes me. And now my pride is a little sore. I'm like, oh, this was a bad idea. But I don't know if you guys know anything about like rural Seattle, but there's no cell phone coverage. So just imagine I'm riding my bike for hours. I've given up hills completely at this point. I just see one and I just... Cars drive by and I'm like, I got a flat. So I'm going and I'm riding my bike and it's starting to rain. There is no one around me. It's like the apocalypse. I can't even call my mom. I can't be saved. And I just stop. And I sit on the ground. And I prepare myself to spend the night on the side of the road. It was a really, really sad moment. So after a while, I can't even play Candy Crush. I mean, like, I have no service. So eventually, in the depths of my despair, a van pulls up. Opens, like, rolls down his window. He's like, hey, you want to ride? And I have 2 responses to this. Heck yes, and stranger danger. But before I get to answer this question, he says, actually, that's not a question. This is, I am the sweeper van. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. So I get up off the ground. I'm like, there's my bike. Deal with it. I get in the van. There's a pillow. I take the pillow, and I'm asleep within 10 seconds. Wow. Day 1. So the sweeper van drives me to camp. Everything's set up. They have these inspirational speeches from survivors and parents of kids, and everyone's crying. I meet up with my 9-person team. I'm like, hey, you guys, let's go get a beer. And they're like, we're going to bed. We biked all day. I was like, right. So anyways, but you're feeling really emotional. You're feeling revved up again. The passion fire's going. I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. I go to sleep. I have a new lease on life the next day. I'm like, I can do it. I can do this. I get on my bike. I can't do this. I don't know if any of you have gotten on your bike after not riding it for 5 years, but it's not your legs that are sore. I just kept imagining cold steak. But now I know what? What do I know? There's a sweeper van. So I'm riding my bike like this. For hours. Because when you know it's coming, the day feels like it's 35 hours. But I'm not going to give up this time. I'm going to do it even if I go slow, even if I have to walk, even if I have to crawl. I am not quitting. I am not giving up. When that super van comes, I'm just gonna say, I did the best I can. Well, the super van came. And he says, hey, I thought I might run into you today. It's like, you're not getting a tip. So I get in the van, and me and Jimmy, we get to talking. Because I'm a reflective person. So much. I worked so hard today. So anyways, I'm not drinking my beer. And Jimmy's like, so tell me about yourself. Why did you do this? I was like, that's a really good question. I'm not exactly sure because I have this sense of invincibility and think I can do everything, and then I forget that I'm 35 and my body just doesn't work the way it used to do. And I'm like, but you know, Jimmy, I just have this like kind of sense of kind of regret and shame a little bit because I should have trained. I should have worked harder. People did this race who are cancer survivors. My body is fully strong and functioning. Like, I totally took advantage of my health. So I'm feeling a little down on myself, you know? And he's just listening with a good ear. And then he stops the van. He's like, get out. I was like, ooh. I'm sorry. I'm like, Jimmy, I didn't know you were so sensitive. He's like, no. The finish line is just through those trees. He's like, get on your bike and finish. He's like, you deserve to finish. He's like, if anyone can attest that you worked hard and experienced something difficult this weekend, it's me. I'm like, Jimmy, that's cheating. I can't do that. He's like, this isn't a race. What is the goal of this tour? The goal of a tour is that you experience something difficult, that you raise $2,000, and that you really are reflective and thankful and experience something together with a group of people. He's like, why shouldn't you cross the finish line? He's like, go, get out, go. So I get on my bike, and I'm like, oh, there's got to be a metaphor in here somewhere. So I ride across the finish line. Everyone's cheering for me. I put my bike above my head for the photo. I feel amazing. I did it. Let's just look at the support that were in place for me that day. We had the sweeper van, and that was available to whoever needed it. No one was left on the road, thank goodness. But you know what? That wasn't enough on day one. I also needed a nap. That pillow was not designed for me. That pillow was designed in case someone needed to elevate their leg because it was broken or something. The sweeper van was not designed for me. It was designed for the woman in case she went into labor. But sometimes those supports aren't even enough. Sometimes we also need a pint. What's your pint? Every day, what's your pint? I ask you to ask your teachers this. When I was riding across the finish line, I realized this is universal design. None of these supports were designed for me. I am healthy, I am able-bodied, I have a bike that works. It wasn't really hilly. None of those supports were designed for me. But when the day of the tour happened, whatever I needed, I had access to. No one said to me, too bad, sleep on the road. Try harder. It's your fault you didn't train. And it's really looking at what are the actual goals that we're aiming for, because none of the goals in education are a race. Ever, 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 ever. How can we try our best? How can we utilize the supports that are available so that everyone can cross the finish line? Now, Kathy said a really amazing thing to me once. She said, can you imagine if in kindergarten we started school knowing that whenever we were stuck, it was okay because there would always be a sweeper van coming. We could do our work and do our learning looking over our shoulder, knowing that no one would be left behind. Can you imagine the difference of a learner with that type of confidence getting to high school, knowing they would be never left behind? Who was here for my belly dancing this morning? I'll have you know, the people with their hands up did belly dancing this morning. And at the end of it, there was not one person who didn't do it or didn't try. And if there was one person that put their hand up, that tells me that my sweeper van was not a sweeper enough. Every day, every unit, every lesson should have a sweeper van. And although it's designed for students who need the most support, whoever needs that sweeper van gets to use that sweeper van. Because some kids are tired, like me today. Some kids are hungry, and it's a place for them so they can also cross the finish line. It's critical, and if we want inclusion to work, that's the number one thing we can do. Support's designed for few, but available to all. Now there's one more part of this story. Oh, here I am. There's one more part of this story. Does anyone know this gentleman? This is Lauren Bodine. Lauren Bodine was our vice principal the year that 2009 happened. He was one of our member of 9. Within 6 months of this race, he got cancer and passed away. He was supposed to be our school principal, and our school broke. It actually shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. If there's anyone who supported inclusion and supporting kids for everyone to cross the finish line, it was him. Wendy Lynn, would you say? Absolutely. Totally. And, oh yes, this is great. Now the part about this that's amazing is that this was a goal that I didn't even anticipate was on the list. Going through this experience, this was the last thing I did with my friend. So it became a goal that I didn't even know I was meeting. I will treasure those 2 days through the blood, sweat, and tears. I will treasure those days in my heart so closely because it was the last thing that Lauren and I did together. So you never actually know, and that's the biggest part of this, is you never actually know the interactions and the goals that are going to take place when you bring people together and you support people to get there. Because things come out like this that you don't even know will be important until 6 months down the road. And this isn't about the race, this isn't about curriculum, this was about a connection that I had with one of the greatest administrators that I've ever worked with. It's not about checklists, it's not about Christy Clark. Anyways. So if I leave you with one thing today, is whenever you see a triangle, do not think of it as compartments. Think about it as the sweeper van. Think about it as, what is the sweeper van that all my kids have access to? What is another level of support that I can offer? What is a third level of support I can offer? Keeping in mind that all of those supports are for every single person in that room. They don't have to leave to get supports. They don't have to go to another school, another classroom, or down the hall, another teacher. All the supports can be right there. And that's all I have. Faye is coming next. It's been a pleasure. And see you around.